There is a song that lives in your mind. It's not one you choose to play. It's a recurring melody, and its name is a person. They live in the quiet moments of your day, in the stillness of a long commute, in the space between breaths before you fall asleep. You can be at work, with friends, even years later, and suddenly the song begins to play again. You find yourself replaying a memory, a feeling, a conversation, for the 100th time. If you have ever experienced this, you know how frustrating it can be. You tell yourself to change the station, to let it go, but the melody remains. This is not a sign of weakness or obsession. According to the deepest wisdom of both psychology and philosophy, a person whose memory plays on a loop in your mind is not a nuisance. They are a messenger. They are a signal from the deepest part of you, pointing to something unfinished, unresolved, and demanding to be heard. Today, we will explore why this happens. Guided by the insights of psychologist Carl Jung, the wisdom of the Stoics, and the flowing nature of Taoism, we will learn to listen to this recurring melody, understand its meaning, and finally, find the peace that comes when the music fades. Part 1. The unfinished song. The mind's open loop. The most common reason a person gets stuck on repeat in our mind is the simplest. Our brain is desperately trying to finish a song. In psychology, there is a phenomenon known as the Zeigarnik effect. Studies show that our brains have a far better memory for uncompleted tasks than for completed ones. An unfinished puzzle, an interrupted task. These things create a mental tension. Our mind craves the final resolving chord. An unresolved relationship, whether it was a long-term partnership or a brief but intense encounter, is the ultimate unfinished song for the psyche. The unsaid words, the unanswered questions, the emotions that were never fully expressed, these create a powerful, open loop that our mind endlessly replays, searching for a conclusion. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius understood this well. He taught that our suffering comes not from events, but from our judgments about them. A person lingering in your mind is often not the problem. The problem is the unresolved story you tell yourself about your history with them. I should have said something different. If only they had understood. I need to know why. Each of these thoughts is a verse in a sad song that you keep singing to yourself. Consider a woman named Clara. 5 years ago, she had a bitter argument with her best friend, and their friendship ended abruptly. She never had the final conversation, never truly said what was in her heart. Today, she finds herself constantly replaying their last fight. The melody of that person is stuck in her head, not because she wants them back, but because her mind is still trying to write the final verse. It is searching for a sense of completion that will finally allow the song to end. Part 2. The resonant mirror. The person as a symbol. But sometimes, the reason for the recurring melody is far deeper. Sometimes the person is no longer just a person. They have become a symbol for a part of ourselves. The psychologist Carl Jung built his life's work on this idea. He taught that the people who affect us most profoundly are often screens onto which we project the hidden parts of our own psyche. We don't see them. We see a reflection of ourselves. This is especially true for what Jung called the shadow self. The shadow is made up of all the traits we possess but have disowned. The ambition we were taught was selfish, the creativity we were told was impractical, the vulnerability we believe is weakness. We push these traits into our unconscious, but they do not disappear. They wait for a note to be struck that they can resonate with, and then we meet someone who plays that exact note. Think of a man named Ben. He's a kind, dependable, but somewhat timid man. He has a former boss he can't stop thinking about with a mix of admiration and intense resentment. The melody of this man is one of power, charisma, and unapologetic ambition. Ben tells himself he despises this melody, but the obsession isn't truly about his old boss. It's about his own shadow. The boss is a living symbol of the ambition and assertiveness that Ben was taught to silence within himself. The man's song is a painful reminder of the music Ben is afraid to play. The melody will keep repeating until Ben either learns to play his own version of that song or makes peace with his silence. Part 3. The Liberating Path. Finding your own music. So, how do we find peace from a melody we didn't choose to play? The answer is not to try and violently silence it, which only gives it more power. The path to freedom is one of awareness and integration. The first step is a Taoist principle, Wu Wei, or effortless action. When the thought of this person arises, do not fight it. That is an act of force that creates more internal noise. Instead, practice non-judgmental observation. Acknowledge the thought, notice the feeling, and then let it fade on its own, like the final note of a song drifting into silence. As the sage Laozi would suggest, you do not fight the river, you learn its flow. By not resisting the thought, you rob it of its power. The second step is a Socratic one. The great philosopher Socrates taught that the key to wisdom is to ask the right questions. Instead of asking the frustrating question, why can't I stop thinking about them? Ask the productive, inward-facing question. What is this melody trying to teach me about myself? Is it pointing to an unfinished song, an emotion I need to finally feel and release? Is it, as in Ben's case, pointing to a shadow note I need to learn to play myself? By shifting the question, you transform the intrusive melody from a torment into a teacher. This leads to the final, alchemical step, integration. This is Jung's ultimate goal of individuation, becoming whole. If the person represents a confidence you admire, the work is to find the seed of that confidence within you. If they represent a wound from your past, the work is to heal that wound within you. You must consciously stop seeing them as the source of the music and realize you have the power to create your own. The sound of silence. A person who becomes a recurring melody in your head is a messenger from your own soul. They arrive to deliver a message about an unfinished story, a disowned part of your character, or a lesson you have yet to learn. And like any good messenger, once the message is received and understood, their job is done. The goal, then, is not to erase the melody. The goal is to get to a point where you can hear it without being controlled by it. You can remember the person with a sense of peace, even gratitude, for the lesson their song taught you. When the emotional story is finished, when the shadow is integrated, when the lesson is finally learned, the intrusive music stops. Not because you have forgotten them, but because you have finally learned to sing your own song.